This video is going to show you how to form le passé composé, or the perfect tense in French, using the verb avoir as its auxiliary verb. The passé composé, or the perfect tense, is used in French when we want to describe a completed action that happened in the past. In English, this might be something like I jumped, he danced, or you slept. And you'll notice in English, we often add an ed onto the end of the verb to form what we call the past participle, the verb that we want to say happened. But not always. So sleep doesn't become sleeped, it becomes slept. So this is an irregular verb. We're going to start by looking at ER verbs in French because they are always regular when we form the past participle. So let's take some verbs that we know. Jouer, to play. Regarder, to watch. Chanter, to sing. And dessiner, to draw, all end in ER. To form the past participle, we remove the ER from the infinitive and we need to add an E with an acute accent. So jouer in the infinitive becomes jouer, and that's how we say played. So how would we say watched, sang, or drew? So exactly the same. We're going to take off the ER and add an E with an acute. Regarder, watched. Same with chanter. We're going to take off the ER and add an E with an acute. And the same again with dessiner, becomes dessiner with an acute accent. Verbs that end in IR in French, like finir, to finish, choisir, to choose, rougir, to blush, and remplir, to fill. This time we're going to take off the IR and we're just going to add an I. So finir becomes fini, finished. So if we want to say chose or chosen, blushed or filled, we change choisir to choisi, rougir to rougi, and remplir to rempli. And finally, regular verbs that end in RE, like vendre, to sell, or fondre, to melt. We're going to remove the RE and we're going to add a U. So vendre becomes vendu, sold, and fondre becomes fondu, melted. So to make a sentence to form the passé composé, we need two parts in French. Part one is the auxiliary verb, and part two is the past participle. Auxiliary verb is a helping verb, and we put it together with the past participle, which is the verb in the past that you want to say happened. So our auxiliary verb, or our helping verb, for the majority of verbs in French, is the verb avoir. So j'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, on a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, elles ont. And we're just going to add that together with the past participle, and that's how we form the passé composé, or the perfect tense in French. So let's look at some examples. If we want to say I played, we need an auxiliary and then we need the past participle. So we're going to start with j'ai, I have, and then jouer, played. If we want to say he played, again, we need the auxiliary plus the past participle. So this time our auxiliary would be il a, he has, and the past participle again, jouer. Il a joué, he has played, or he played. For they and finished, they finished, auxiliary verb and past participle. So they have, ils ont, past participle, fini. They have finished, or they finished. We don't have a different way of saying the two in French. We always use the auxiliary verb. Ils ont fini. And if we wanted to say we sold, we would say nous avons vendu. Auxiliary plus past participle. So I've shown you what to do with regular ER, IR and RE verbs when we want to form the past participle. But there are some verbs that have an irregular past participle. In English, we have irregular past participles as well. So, for example, eat doesn't become eated, it becomes ate. Run becomes ran. Sleep becomes slept. And in French, it's the same. We have some verbs that don't follow the same rules as I've just shown you with the regular verbs. So when we're using irregular verbs in French, we just have to learn how the past participle is formed. So verbs like avoir, to have, boire, to drink, dire, to say, devoir, to have to, écrire, to write, faire, to do or to make, ouvrir, to open, pouvoir, to be able, prendre, to take, and voir, to see, are all irregular. So what we have to do, avoir becomes eu, had, boire becomes bu, drank, dire becomes dit, said, devoir, dû, had to, écrire becomes écrit, wrote, faire becomes fait, did or made, ouvrir becomes ouvert, opened, pouvoir becomes pu, could or was able, prendre becomes pris, took, and voir becomes vu. So again, with the irregular verbs, we still need an auxiliary and a past participle. So for example, j'ai fait, I did or I have done. Elle a bu, she drank or she has drunk. And nous avons dit, we said or we have said.
Le passé composé, le passé composé. J'ai mangé, tu as dansé, il a parlé, elle a chanté, nous avons joué, vous avez crié, ils ont aimé, elles ont rêvé. J'ai fait, tu as vu, il a pris, elle a lu, nous avons bu, vous avez dit, ils ont écrit, elles ont suivi. Je suis allé, tu es parti, il est né, elle est sortie, nous sommes montés, vous êtes tombés, ils sont venus, elles sont restées. Je suis arrivé, tu es retourné, il est descendu, elle est passée, nous sommes entrés, vous êtes restés, ils sont morts, elles sont montées. Le passé composé. J'ai mangé, tu as dansé, il a parlé, elle a chanté, nous avons joué, vous avez crié, ils ont aimé, elles ont rêvé. J'ai fait, tu as vu, il a pris, elle a lu, nous avons bu, vous avez dit, ils ont écrit, elles ont suivi. Je suis allé, tu es parti, il est né, elle est sortie, nous sommes montés, vous êtes tombés, ils sont venus, elles sont restées. Je suis arrivé, tu es retourné, il est descendu, elle est passée, nous sommes entrés, vous êtes restés, ils sont morts, elles sont montées. Je suis arrivé, tu es retourné, il est descendu, elle est passée, nous sommes entrés, vous êtes restés, ils sont morts, elles sont montées.